Dude, I am so tired of making little recordings. I am not made for doing this. And this is the last one I'm recording, but I don't know where this is going to be placed. Um, Super excited because this class I get to actually see you guys in person. So I'm just going to do a little bit here because we're probably going to cover this in class on Wednesday. I do want to give you a heads up though that I had knee surgery the day before Thanksgiving. Couldn't afford insurance for the month of December, so I had no physical therapy, which has caused issues to say the least. And I don't have my first physical therapy until this coming Friday. Um, this will be the first time I've driven a nice long distance since then. And my leg does not like to straighten, and I might be wearing a leg brace and might be having to use a crutch. And I'm going to be lurching about because I also am not good at being still. So, my apologies at what kind of spectacle I'm going to make when I'm there. So, um, all right, let's take a real quick look at your course, but we're probably going to cover this in class. What I recommend everybody do is always read the announcements because I'm letting you know right here everything that's happening and that you have to click on that week's file in order to access anything. What I have discovered is when you click on these folders, it does not always show you what I want it to show you. So I am going to put this to myself here and go to content and then scroll here to week one. When you go to week one, this is the folder. The file is this. And I break everything down and I give you links. This video is an old video. I'm going to talk about it in class anyway. So pretty much most of the stuff here in week one, other than the quizzes, we're just going to talk about on Wednesday. So it would be cool if you got started, but it's okay if you don't. I would like you to do the discussion because the discussion is this. And if people go ahead and answer some of these questions before we meet on Wednesday, I've already got some answers and then I can cover it. And that's pretty much how our discussions are going to run through the entire course. I have something every single week. Some of them are more serious than others um, because, well, I have topics I want us to cover, and the idea is on Monday, before Monday, like when it opens on Sunday, Sunday or Monday, you'll come in, you'll take a look, you'll think about it, and you'll post something in here. And then Wednesday, we continue the conversation. And the more things that people put in here before we meet on Wednesday, we got jumping off points. Otherwise, we can only do stuff on Wednesday. Um, that is not ideal. You will be getting a grade on every single one of these. And let me go to the syllabus to show you what I'm meaning. Oh, I keep going the wrong direction. Anyone else ever do that? We have a thing here of important papers and such, and here's your syllabus. Now, the way I have this broken down, again, we're going to cover this in class, so I'm scooching over it. We have 20 points each for the discussions for the whole term. So what we're going to do, and I'm closing this part up, is if you want to get all the points possible, you will post something to the discussion board and you will be active in class discussion. I will be keeping track of this. That's how you get all 20 points. And I also am a huge proponent in rewarding good behavior. And so the more active you are and you're really yourself, the more points you can get. So it's possible to get more than 20 points. Um, I will cover in class with the syllabus and the point system even more why this is important. Um, yeah, I think that's most of it right there. I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday, where won't have the ponytail and won't be wearing the t-shirt. And I will be lurching about. So, oh yeah, and I'm also always very anxious when I first meet people. So sorry. Anyway, I will see you Wednesday. Peace. So I'm just going to scooch on down to what I think most people want to know. One, the way I grade. I use the point system. And so you are guaranteed a chance at 1,000 points over the course of the entire course for the whole term, the whole semester. There you go. I also have a lot of extra credit built in, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But the way this works is every 100 points, basically after 600, brings you up a letter grade. So as soon as you have 900 points, you are guaranteed to have an A, even if you do nothing else for the rest of the term. You already got your A. But if you have 899 points, you have a B. I do not round grades at all. So even if you got 899.97, you will receive a B because I make plenty of points available. So the breakdown, 900 and higher is an A. 800 to 899 is a B. 700 to 799 is a C. And then 600 to 699 is a D. And anything below 600 is an F. This is up to you. I will keep the grades posted as fast as possible. I normally have them posted within a week. On occasion, life gives me the smackdown and I might get a tiny bit behind, but normally not more than 2 weeks. I am a firm believer that you should always, always, always know what your grade is. So this is how I break down the grades all the time. Now, I stated as soon as you get 900 points, you've got an A. I'm not kidding. If you bust butt and do everything you possibly can, you can get an A before the last couple of weeks, so then you can just coast. It's pretty phenomenal. And the reason I do this is because I was one of those people who would choke randomly, and I needed that buffer. Also, the way I have this course set up is there's going to be a lot of stuff to do, and a lot of people won't follow directions, and a lot of people will be failing by midterm. But the way I have it set up is you can be failing at midterm and still get an A by the end of the term. Keep up with your points. Okay. All right. Now, reminding everybody that we are going to be talking about a lot of sensitive topics. And we are going to learn how to identify misinformation versus false information. There's another word, and I'm blanking on it again. Anyway, we got a whole thing about it. We are going to talk about this thing, all of our topics, and a lot of them might get heated. You have to remain respectful of other people's views. If you want somebody to respect you, you have to respect them. It is not I feel I was disrespected and now I'm going to attack everybody. That never happens. If you feel you were disrespected, contact me. We'll talk about it. You do not retaliate, but you are going to respect everybody else's views. If you don't agree with them, this is how we learn, is to be able to talk. I have already said in the intro stuff the importance of opening that week's file. So this is reminding you, you have to do this. Okay, here's the other part. This is the way it's all going to be broken down. Every single week, there is a quiz. Every week, there is a quiz. I'm staring at this because I do believe I've changed the points here, so I need to adjust your syllabus. I do believe now your quizzes are worth 13.75 points each, and each of your discussions are going to be 35 points. And the semester-long project, I think, is 100. But I'm going to double check, and then I'm going to update the syllabus for you. But that's the big thing, is there is a quiz every single week, 17 quizzes. So make sure every week you do them. If at any point you log in and you're like, I don't see a quiz, that means you did not open that week's file. So there you go. Here's how this breaks down. Our global policies course only has 10 chapters. So I try to break them up a little bit. I try to spread them out. We never cover more than one chapter a week. And some of them get a little more than others. There is a project you will be working on. It is a group project. Yes, a group project online, and it will be due in week 15. Week 1, we're going to have some information about it. Like I'm giving you a heads up. Week 3 is when it officially begins, because week 3 is when I make the groups. I can't really officially make the groups until week 3 because of drop add. And a lot of times during the second week, people get added. And so that's when it becomes official. Then we will have time at midterm to work on your project. I highly recommend you work this whole time. And then you're going to be reading, doing quizzes, doing discussions, and then your project will be due week 15, and then we wrap it all up. So if you are one of those types of people who likes to work ahead, you can start reading your book ahead if you wish. Also, every week I will give you the book PowerPoints. So if you don't have access to the textbook, you've got all the PowerPoints and you can go through them. Then we have all these basic things. I'm reminding you that what you turn in, if it's a paper, has to be DOC, DOCX, or PDF. I will not accept a screenshot, RTF, any of these types of things. If you attach anything other than the 3 files stated, you will get a 0. You don't really have many of these. I just have this as to cover my butt. Also, all assignments have to be turned in where they are stated to be turned in. You cannot email me the assignment. If you email me the assignment, you will receive a 0. I will only grade assignments turned in the proper location. Okay. Also, all assignments, they're due Friday at 10 p.m., except for the very last week, at which point it's Thursday. But all of the assignments close Friday at 10 p.m. 10 p.m., Friday at 10 p.m., Friday at 10 p.m., Friday at 10 p.m. Why am I repeating this? Because somebody's going to say they didn't know. So just to make sure, here you go. Everything is due Friday nights at 10 p.m. I do not accept late or makeup work. I just don't. You have time to do it. Do it. As discussed in the intro video, however, if life is starting to pull you down, contact me ahead of time. If you are a student athlete and you see that you're about to have a whole bunch of stuff coming up and you might get behind, contact me ahead of time. I do not do retroactive. If you realize something's going to happen, your job is to contact me and we work it out so you can work ahead. Not catch up, not make up, but work ahead. That's part of learning how to do things. So, yeah. And then these are all those things that we just simply have to have in the syllabus. So there you go. And then midterm grades. Midterm, I believe, is week 8. It's marked in there in the grades section of Brightspace in your course. You will see a spot that says midterm. There's also a current grade. If you ever want to know where you are, just go to current grade. That should show you. It should show you points. Doesn't always show you points. Midterm, I have it where everything through week 7 will show up there. So as soon as I finish grading everything from week 7, you will see what your midterm grade is. That is the midterm grade that I will put into the system. And then, yeah, I think that's mostly it for that. Now, AI and chat and stuff like that, just don't. It is a waste of time. You're not learning anything. You're wasting your money going to college if you're using this stuff. Because the whole purpose of going to college is learning to think critically and research and be able to recall the information. I am very anti-chat because it's just a glorified word generator. It's not even what artificial intelligence actually is, but people call it AI. And I will happily educate everybody on this because it really is a pet peeve of mine. And one of the big things is the average student who uses this in order to answer a discussion doesn't bother thinking about the fact of how many other students are using this to answer a discussion. At which point we get a whole lot of discussions that are extremely similar. Some of the chat bots basically stick in random symbols that don't work. And a lot of times they don't even answer the question. So just be you, answer the actual question. And the fact that I'm honestly constantly asking you for your thoughts and how you feel, that should be in your own head. At no point am I asking for you to define something in an academic fashion. So please stay off of this. If I suspect or am sure that you have been using this, I will give you a warning the first time. And then anytime it shows up looking exactly the same, then I'm just going to go ahead and give you zeros. So, I guess the only other part for this will be in the courses. I've already made it clear that you need to click on that week's file in order to access the material. A lot of times people won't bother with that part, and then they will tell me that they couldn't open something. It's telling them something's wrong. They weren't able to, blah, blah, blah. And I will ask if you open that week's file, and the person will respond with, of course, yes, I did everything I'm supposed to. And the first thing I will do is go into the back area of Brightspace and look at everything you've done. Because on Brightspace, instructors can see everything that you've opened and how long you've spent on it. And the way I tend to word it is we've got eyes everywhere, we're watching. And so the first thing I will do is see if you've actually opened what you were supposed to open. And more often than not, I'll send a screenshot that shows you didn't do it. I can't stand liars. So if you can't access something and I say, did you open that week's file? Just be honest. Go, oh, shoot, I forgot. And then go do it. Do not lie to me because I will have already looked, just so you know. That is legit. The first thing I do is I see whether or not you've done it. So just remember, I can actually see everything that you open in this course and how long you spend on it. So just be honest when I ask a question. I think, yeah, I think that's most of it. All right.